check this. Boom. Okay. Nice. Okay. We're online. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Spider Y2 Banana Podcast. This will be the final podcast of the year because we had our fantasy championship last week, and we have the winner here with us today, Alex, fantasy manager of Team Goldywang here. Alex, first of all, congratulations on the championship. What are you going to do with all that money?
Well, that's a great question. Probably nothing good. It's probably going to go towards like the casino or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just extra money I wasn't expecting to have, so.
Yeah.
Well, so it was obviously a very successful year for you. Your team finished 8-6. Looking at the playoff bracket, you were the, 4 seed, 5 seed, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Number 1 in the North Division, which was a little weak this year.
It could have been better.
We'll bounce back. We'll bounce back next year. Got a couple down years from some of your commissioners here, but we'll bring it back next year. Okay, from one of your commissioners. I see that face, Greg. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It was just a down year from me. Greg did pretty good. But yeah, I mean, who do you think who's the key player to your success? I guess we'll start there. Who was your favorite player this year on your team?
Overall, it started out with Josh Allen because he was putting up like 40-some points in the first like 4 weeks, and I was like, if he keeps this up, it's gonna be great. And then like week 5 and 6 hit, and it was just terrible. And then Justin Jefferson came alive in the middle of the year, did really well, gave me good numbers. And then definitely at the end of the year, it was Mark Andrews. With them losing Lamar Jackson for a bit, it said he just got a lot of targets.
Oh yeah.
And definitely carried me through the playoffs to win those games.
Absolutely brutal.
It was. I'm looking at these guys' games. It was kind of a 3-part thing, kind of like you said. So Josh Allen carried it the first, 5 games maybe. Jefferson took over, and then Mark Andrews took it home.
Mark Andrews took it home. Yeah, that's how it went. Just watching it.
That's pretty impressive. And I also wanted to pull out the draft results from this year because this is also pretty interesting. We went through this a couple weeks ago, kind of looking over.
There's so many trades this year.
So many trades, which was pretty awesome to see. First of all, in the league, because you always love to see active league members. But your draft was pretty insane when you look back at it.
It could have been better.
Could have been better.
I made some random picks really early that I shouldn't have, but it seemed to pay off.
The Claypool pick you got was good. You picked Devontae Smith late, which was good as well.
Yes.
And then you rostered Rashad Penny for a while actually, which
and then I think I dropped him after he got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's when I dropped him, and if I would have kept him, it would have been more beneficial.
Because he ended up having a great playoff for whoever had him. But I had Chris Carson the whole year, so once he got injured, I scrambled to go pick up Rashad Penny. I remember thinking, God dang it, Alex has been rostering him all year.
When we were drafting, I thought to myself, I was like, odds are Chris Carson's getting hurt like week 3 or 4. I was like, I'm gonna pick up Rashad Penny, and he's gonna get those touches when I need him, and it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
But I think I also picked up Chuba Hubbard too, and had him for most of it too when CMC went out.
Yeah, Chuba. That was rough. I mean, like, you would think that would just directly go right over, but that offense is a mess. And
it was.
After Cam came back, it was just a crapshoot of who's getting those touches.
It even went worse, yeah.
That was a weird couple weeks when Cam came back and, like, he looked good at the beginning.
40, he had like 40 that week, and everybody's like, oh my God, Cam's back, it's rookie Cam. And then he's like threw 2 interceptions, had 1 rushing touchdown for like 5 yards, and he scored like a total of 8 points. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Panthers are like, we wanna get a closer look at PJ Walker, you know, like let's see what he looks like.
Shit. Yeah.
But and then so you did lose. You lost Kamara for a little bit there, and I remember going through the podcast because we'd go through everybody's teams usually week in and week out, and your running backs were looking grim. You were starting, I think, Devin Singletary and
from the very beginning.
Gaskin.
It just did not go well for me.
It's
the year of the year of the running back in fantasy football. It was easily the worst year ever.
It was so bad. You couldn't the odds that you hit on like 2 of your starting running backs even were so slim.
On top of that, it didn't help that my brother had any other running back on his team. Just any other possible running back that's going to get points, Isaiah had him on his team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you're just going out there picking, you're just like, who's going to get a touch this game to get me some points?
Yeah.
Right. He had, he picked up, he had Chase Edmonds, I think, this whole year.
Oh my gosh, I was so mad. I looked that week and I was like, we need running backs. And I was like, what are the second, third stringers who get points? And Chase Edmonds was like, Isaiah picked him up like week 2. Or he had him, I mean, he had him in the draft and then he just held him. And I mean, he had literally everybody who made sense for waiver wire pickups because he drafted really early 2 very nice running backs, like never needs to move them. And then he's like, oh, I also have Chase Edmonds and Damian Harris, and I don't need to touch those guys either. So, like, I tried really hard to trade. Whenever I trade for Terry McLaurin, I tried really hard to trade for either of those running backs, and he was not letting them go. He's like,
I offered him, I think it was like Kelsey for Najee Harris, and he was like, yeah, I don't really want to mess with my 2 running backs I have. I'm like, I don't blame you. I'm just trying to get in on Najee Harris a little bit. Yeah. I wouldn't take that trade either, but no, he had a consistent team and he kept hitting on guys, right? Like the Odell Beckham Jr. pickup that he had. Like I picked him up as a joke one week and then dropped him. Was like, he'll never be relevant again. And then a couple weeks later, Isaiah's like starting him and like he's getting 20 points or something.
Yeah, he just like randomly gets picked up and just dropping 20-point bombs like it's nothing.
But he's not the superior Evans brother in this league.
He's not.
He won the league.
Yeah.
As good as a manager he is, he didn't show up in the playoffs.
Flew by on the mediocre team that carried me to the win.
Yeah, no kidding. That's how it's been the last 2 years, though. Looking at my team was mediocre as hell going into the championship week, and I was like, "There's no way I win this." And then Connor's team is non-existent last week in the championship. And I start to Tunga Viola, who scores like half a point in the championship game last year and still won it. And then Matt rolled through barely.
Year 1
championship, year 1.
Yeah.
He still talks about it like that. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, still bringing up the glory days.
How mediocre all of these shitty championship teams are. Like, they're not great, but they do enough and they win the money. So,
yeah, they do enough when it matters.
Draft mediocrely next year, everybody. That's our tip here.
What was crazy about mine, I didn't even know at one point if I was even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I was watching it and I was like, if I lose one game, like I'm potentially not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, I kept, being on the outside of the playoffs, I kept keeping track of like who needed to lose for me to get in, and the window just kept closing. And then I think I lost to Andrew in the last week, and I was like, okay. I was like, he hadn't set his lineup in like 7 or 8 weeks, but it happened to be the 1 week. The 1 week everybody was off bye and like Kyler was back healthy. I was like, okay, I'm not. It wasn't meant to be this year. But it was down the stretch. It got really close, and I'm gonna bring up my Google Docs because I've been keeping track of the power rankings throughout the year. So I'm going to see where you started, Alex, and where we had you finish?
Well, I think in the first like 3 or 4 weeks, I was like 0-4, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I'm gonna win this year.
Yeah, we had you after week 1. I had you in 12th.
Yeah, I was like, I was not a good team at the very beginning of the season.
Like, I literally put, Alex moved up 3 spots because he got 45 from Josh Allen, and like, you just kept 20 from Justin Jefferson, but you lost. You moved down 2, and then I think you just kept going up. Yeah, up to 7, up to 6. So, yeah.
The good news is, Alex, though, either of the teams that would have met you in the championship would have lost. So
that's great news.
It would have been either me or Sean losing to you in the championship. Now that I look at this week, because I scored 107, Sean scored 83.
I think I was like 117 or something.
Yeah, you're at 114 when you're predicted 146, and Sean was predicted 142, and he only put 83 on the table. So,
that was rough.
Yeah. So
I was in constant communication with Sean all Sunday because he just kept. He's like, he'd go, okay, gotta get a big game for my Cowboys guys, right? And then it was like, they
blew that last week on me in the semis. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, he blew. They kind of shot their. It
was bad.
Yeah. But his Cowboys guys, Zeke got him 4. Schultz got him 11, but CD got him 8.1, and he played the Cowboys defense.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs was his leading scorer. He should have put the Bears defense in. Maybe he just stood a chance,
Because we talked about this on the last pod, Greg, didn't we? Because the Bears were sitting there, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to pick them up just in case. And I said, honestly,
I'd probably start them. They're playing the Giants.
Right, they were playing the Giants, and I said the only argument for starting the Cowboys is start your studs. They're the defense number 1 or number 2 or whatever.
And they somehow find a way to lose. Like, it's Kyler Murray, right? Like, he's back.
Yeah.
But 24 points would not have made the difference.
Nope.
So he would have had to make a couple more changes. So there really wasn't.
Would have looked a tad better though.
Yeah, it would have.
I'm excited that we finally have a strong champion. Like a strong team is the champ. Because I felt like the last 2 champions. Yeah, they both lost to the real champion, and it's just. I'm just kidding. But no, it is nice that one of the Evans brothers finally gets to take one home.
It's. I didn't think it was me. I figured after looking towards the end, it was gonna be more likely that Isaiah's team was gonna end up pulling it out, and then I think Mark Andrews, really, honestly, if it wasn't for Mark Andrews, I wouldn't have even made it out of the first game or 2, and so he just carried me to the promised land, and so I can give it all to him, even though he lost his team the game twice in a row. On those overtime, or on those going for 2,
he did.
He won me the fantasy league, so.
Yeah, that was insane.
So you playing Sean for that during that Buffalo game? We were watching that one together. Sean and I were, and it was he had Diggs going, but you had Singletary and Josh Allen, and so like every red zone trip. There was no way to not get points from you, basically. So he was like, I just need a Diggs touchdown. And Josh Allen, I think, ran one in. Singletary ran one in. It was a disaster.
What's crazy about the whole thing is that was one of the few touchdowns Singletary even had all year.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put him in. It wasn't because I wanted to. It's because I had to play Singletary.
Right.
And I was like, he's going to get me 3 points. And then I checked the score, and it's Singletary ran one in. I was like, what?
And he had a garbage time touchdown, didn't he?
Oh, my God.
I think it was towards the late, It was towards the end.
He had an insane fantasy playoffs. 16, 18, and 23 to close it out.
He was actually getting points there towards the end, and I was just like, where was this all season when I needed a running back?
Yeah, right. And And what's funny is once he started getting the touches, he started producing. Like, he started producing numbers. It was just him being behind, I think, Zach Moss and maybe one other guy. Matt Breida might be here. Yeah, anyway.
Possibly, or just Josh Allen running it himself.
That too. Yeah, Josh Allen
that's
being the main running back.
He just does the quarterback designed runs. And it's like, well, there goes my running back.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. You had a running back at quarterback, essentially.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, Alex, if you didn't know. So I'm a huge fan of Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been rooting for him, you know, all year. He once Thielen got injured, it was like he was the only target on the team. So he was getting, you know, those double teams and everything. So his point production kind of, you know, waned in the past couple weeks, which was unfortunate. But, I mean, he still didn't put under 10 for you since week 8. Like,
still doing well.
So you think you're keeping Justin probably?
Most likely. I think it just makes the most sense.
Yeah, you get to keep him for a second.
Because, I think it makes the most sense, and try to maybe pick up a decent tight end later or something. But I mean, the only downside is like with tight end purposes, it's like there's only like 3 of them that get a lot of points.
Right. If you don't have any of those, like Kelsey,
yeah, it's like if you don't
Kittle,
have the top 3, it's like it's a hit or miss as to if they're going to get the touches. But I mean, at the same time,
I think you're going to see that flex a lot.
Needed.
Yeah, I think you're going to see that flex a lot more from year to year. Like, you know, we thought Darren Waller was going to come back and have a pretty strong year. Thought, you know, Kittle was going to come back and have a strong year, which he did towards the end of the year. But like
towards the end,
I mean, Mark Andrews and all of those guys. Like, I mean, everybody knew Mark Andrews was good, but we didn't know he was like really good. So. You know, you hit pretty good on that, and you know, Kelsey obviously playing in the most potent offense to ever touch a football field, and everyone else. I mean, it's kind of funny. The top 5 is leagues above everybody else in the league. So
once you get past like 7 or 8, it starts to become like a touchdown lottery, and you're just hoping that the guy lands in the end zone somehow.
And then you'll just randomly get one of those weeks where they throw like 3 touchdown passes to tight ends, and like nobody ever has them on their team.
Right. Like, I think there was one week you specifically started, maybe you didn't start him, but Gesicki put up a 0, had like 7 targets or something. Week 10 against Baltimore. I remember that because you guys won that game, Greg. The Dolphins beat Baltimore, and I was hyped for you.
Watching, I was like, Gesicki's definitely getting some touches this game.
He's got to, right?
Puts up nothing. And I was like, that is the last time you were playing in my lineup.
Jalen Waddle's the player to have in the Miami offense. Hearing moving.
Oh yeah. So. Well, so Alex, as the champion for next year, you get to pick your draft position.
Draft at 1.
So the last 2 winners have chosen to draft at 1 and haven't repeated. So it may be time for a different strategy.
It might be like draft 2. It's definitely going to be something I have to think about as to strategy purposes as to what I'm going to do, because it also depends on, I guess, if I do take Justin Jefferson, or if I pull the long con and go with Mark Andrews.
Right.
And we're going to have, I think we should make a rule that everybody's sleepers should be finalized like the week before draft. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I agree.
If not, somebody's going to change it at the last second and cause all sorts of chaos.
Yeah, can't be doing that.
Yeah.
But that's just my thing. I was talking with Isaiah. I was like, I don't know. I was like, Mark Andrews is one of those tight ends that's going to get you a lot of points week in, week out, because he's the big body target that they have on the team to throw to.
Right.
But then it's like also with Justin Jefferson's like 2nd year in the league.
Yeah.
So especially like he's going to get the targets, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, JJ could be a 2 to 3 year guy, you know? Like he's not even in his prime yet.
Exactly, yeah.
It's insane.
And he's such a a clean route runner too. It's really nice to see. He just hits the, he'll hit the slant the right way. He'll hit the comeback the right way. It's really it's beautiful to watch. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like watching fine. Anyway, I don't know, music being made. I don't know where I was going with that, but he's a great route runner. I'm sorry.
It's like watching fine.
I'm getting
music. Yeah.
I'm getting romantic about Justin Jefferson, his route running. But I don't know why. Jeez. So yeah, I mean, my whole thing with I guess I don't know. We don't need to talk about the Vikings. Never mind. We just start talking. We need to target him more. That's all I'll say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not. Like, he got 11 targets in the last game. He needs to be getting, like, 25. Like, I don't know why he's not... not 25, but he need... Like, Thielen's out, and we had a backup quarterback. Like, I don't know.
The Thielen thing's dumb. Because, first off, it's like, who else are you giving the ball to? They're like, oh, well, Dalvin's here, but it's like, you can't be giving it to Dalvin all the time. Yeah, and you're back like 2nd and 15. They're like, oh, we're giving it to Dalvin. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Throw the ball.
My favorite thing that the Vikings do is we'll just run it right up the middle behind our very small offensive linemen. We get a yard or two, and then we'll throw like a little screen to Dalvin on 2nd down. It's 3rd and 7, and then Kirk overthrows Justin Jefferson by like 10 yards.
You can see Dalvin from space behind that O-line. Yeah. Like
it's so tiny.
The dude is giant. It's like, oh, your tallest guy on O-line is 6'3", 280. Like, not good looks here for offensive linemen.
Our center, Garrett Bradbury, he made a catch against Green Bay. Like, it tipped off somebody and he caught it. And Chris Collins there's their talented center, Garrett Bradbury. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the worst center in the league, based off like PFF or whatever. And Collinsworth, oh, he's so athletic, they might have to put him in at fullback. I'm like, anything to see if he can do it. Like, he's not a center in this league, I can tell you that. But yeah, so back to this. So Justin Jefferson, Mark Andrews, those would probably be the two keepers for you.
Yeah, there's quarterback position's just so hit or miss. It's like you could pick up just about anybody in the league, and they're going to get you that 15 to 18 points. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I picked up Josh Allen in like the 2nd or 3rd pick or something like that. Something really early.
Yeah, you got him in the 2nd. Yeah.
And so probably wouldn't do that again.
Was that first quarterback off the board?
Oh, for sure. And maybe Mahomes might have went first, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I picked up first.
Yeah, Mahomes did go first. Mahomes went to Matt at 203. Matt was pissed he didn't get Kelsey that year too, I think.
So I was like,
thought he was coming back.
Well, Mahomes went, so I was like, I'm just gonna pick Josh Allen, whatever.
Yeah.
Just picked him up because I assumed he would have another good year like he had the year before, and then it's just been turnover central for all the quarterbacks this year. So it seems like
it really has. It's been good, like usual good fantasy weeks have turned into like crap just because like Tannehill threw a couple interceptions, got a fumble, turned from 27 points to like 18, and
pretty much.
Man. Let's see.
Looking at the draft, like, oh my gosh, the thing that I don't understand is how running backs like going forward are going to be drafted.
Right. That's going to be really cool to see because it's like
after this year, I'm probably not touching a running back until like round 5. Like I straight up like it's it's bad. Unless like I can get like Najee or one of the youngest guys in the league. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I want the least amount of miles on my running back next year. Because like, where's CMC going?
Yeah, not CMC or James Robinson. Looking at my picks, it's just atrocious.
Like, Saquon might be like a third rounder next year at this point. Like if he can't stay healthy, like it's so weird.
Fourth or fifth, yeah.
Just said, and I don't know. I don't think my brother's giving up Jonathan Taylor. So.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, I would expect him to keep JT.
So.
Yeah.
Is he's
Dude.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I so like looking at Tankathon and stuff like that, like I don't really know what teams are gonna be like, yeah, we're drafting a running back in the first round. Like I don't see a whole lot of teams being like, yeah, we need a running back immediately, you know, like
teams don't think like that anymore, you know?
Yeah. Well, wasn't CEH the only running back to go 2 years ago in the first round, and then this last year Najee was like was he a first round pick?
Najee and the Jacksonville guy, Etienne.
Yeah.
And I think that was it on running backs.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Like I think they're probably mid-second, third round guys. Like I feel bad saying that, but you know, running backs they're just like not really a bang for your buck in longevity wise when building a contender. So
yeah, because you only get 3 or 4 decent years out of them before the average one. Yeah, before you got to pay up. That's a good point too. I was gonna say before they break down, but that's the big thing. Like with Dalvin, we paid him all that money. Was it smart? Probably not, but at that point he's not slowing down, or he doesn't look like he's slowing down. So, you pay him, but you could, running backs are a dime a dozen. Like Carlos Hyde put in 1,000 yards last year. And he's like, anyway, you can get him anywhere. I don't know why you pay for running backs like that.
The Dolphins just picked up Duke Johnson, and he has 2 games back to back with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Absurd.
it seems like anybody can play running back now. Maybe that's not the way to put it, but just anybody, like any running back can play running back in the NFL right now. As long as you can pass block, teams will put you out there. Because there's been guys who have been put in the doghouse because they couldn't pass block. Somebody who was good, Darrell Henderson, is a great pass blocker. Somebody's creeping in on Greg there. Is that Jeff?
Hey, hi, Jeff. Yeah, it's Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. Jeff, what's your take on Justin Jefferson or Mark Andrews as a keeper?
Jeff, if you're a fantasy football owner, who are you keeping, Justin Jefferson or Mark Andrews?
In a vacuum.
In a vacuum. Like next year. Pick one.
Jefferson, because Jeff is in his...
Says Jefferson, because Jeff's in his name.
Okay. All right, Jeff.
Got it. Good enough.
Says good enough. Alex says good enough.
Well, there's your answer, Alex. I hope that helped.
Well, Jeff said it's because it has Jeff in it. So.
Yeah. Seems legit. He knows.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So the last thing I had on here, I had literally introduce Alex, talk about his team and keepers, and then I have talk NFL football. Alex, who's your pick who's your Super Bowl pick right now? You got any?
Honestly, I have no idea. So it seems to me at the moment that the Packers might be that team. Just because it seems like, for the most part, most of their games haven't had too many issues with. Just from I haven't sat down and necessarily watched the game, but seeing highlights and everything, it's like it didn't look like most of them were struggles. They're just we're just kind of
they've been taking care of business.
Adams,
oh yeah,
and call it good, pretty much. Other than that, I mean, the AFC team could be just anybody. Honestly, at this point, it's going to be just a toss-up as to who's going to have the better week.
Yeah, I am. So, if I'm like Kansas City or I guess Kansas City is the 1 seed right now, right? If I'm...
they're 2.
Oh, no,
they're
Tennessee took them over.
It, yeah.
That's right.
When they lost that game, Tennessee took the 1 because they have the tiebreaker.
That's true. Well, so either Kansas City or Tennessee, after that Bengals game, I am scared to death to face Cincinnati in a playoff like that. Because
for sure.
I mean, they'll hang 50 on you. Like,
gun to my head, if it can line up, those are the 2 I'm putting in the AFC Championship.
Chiefs and Bengals?
Yeah.
I would love to see a rematch of that game. That game was so much fun.
What surprised me is that they, even after Jamar Chase had his 8th catch of the game, they still didn't try to double team him over there.
Yeah, they were.
It's like they're just like, oh, dude, 3rd and 27. Let's just throw a Hail Mary over there to him. Somehow comes down over the defender and keeps his feet in bounds. And I'm just like, how many times are you gonna let this dude moss you before you just throw him to the ground or something? I'd rather you get a pass interference.
Right. And what was crazy was it just kept being Jamar Chase. It's like, there it is again, right? It just kept being Jamar Chase.
Everybody.
Yeah, Higgins got his.
That same thing that Higgins got it.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd, I think, had 1 or 2.
Mixon.
But I think what was the craziest part about the whole thing is that every ball that Joe Burrow threw over there was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you're telling me this man's going to throw a perfect ball every time?
Every
time. And then the receiver on top of it is going to catch it inbounds every time. I was like, we're not going to get one breakup? Not once?
Yeah,
it was nuts to watch.
I don't know if it was bad, defensive back play or what, but you're right. It was like they weren't missing. They just weren't missing.
They're just like, oh, we got a guy down there. Throw it to him. He's like, oh, he's going to find a way to catch that ball. Stay in bounds. And I'm just like, this is the most dominant receiving I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they were wide open either. It's like he's catching this in traffic over this guy.
Yeah, these are tough catches.
They're not easy catches by any means. And he's just like, nah, I got it.
Well, the Kansas City pass rush did not seem overwhelming at all for that O-line either, which was insane. They were just hitting every block perfectly.
Yeah.
So,
which that was going into the season. The O-line was the issue for Cincinnati, and
because everybody was like, "Oh, Joe Burrow's gonna get concussed again, and we'll see how many games he plays."
Remember when people were giving him shit for drafting for passing on Penei Sewell? They're like, well, how's Joe Burrow gonna throw it if he can't, if he can't even get the ball off? He's gonna get sacked.
Yeah,
and then I think Jamar Chase was the right choice.
Even looking at their stats though, he's been hit a lot this year.
Oh yeah.
I think during that graphic they pulled up, it's like he had been hit more than any other quarterback still, but still just dropping dimes out there it's nobody's business.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah, quarterbacks who have been hit the most. I just looked it up. Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess Joe Flacco, the one game he played.
Yeah.
But I looked up. Yeah.
For the NFC coming out of the playoffs, it's a crapshoot.
I was firmly on the Tampa Bay bandwagon before this week. After this week, I'm like, struggling with the Jets. I don't know. I hate it. I'm probably sticking with Green Bay now. That was different. That was hard to watch.
Probably Green Bay or the Cowboys, I guess. But
I really like the Cardinals. I really like Kyler Murray. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes maybe the NFC Championship or something.
I wouldn't be surprised either. It just they fell off a little bit towards week 14-ish.
Yeah.
It's like they were just being dominant, and then it's just a couple downhill games. And
I think if they can get Hop back and he's he's healthy, I think that'd be that'd go a long way for him. Is that even
in the cards though? Is that even?
I'm actually not sure.
Possible.
Hopkins health.
I haven't seen any. I thought he was out for indefinitely,
of course,
the entire season.
I googled Hopkins health.
It's the MCL.
Is it the MCL?
Yeah.
Sprained knee, MCL, yeah.
Yep.
Out rest the regular season, so he may be back for the playoffs.
Target date for a potential return January 30th.
That's not in time, unless they make
Nope.
unless they're making the Super Bowl, or I guess it'd be conference championship. I think is that week.
Yep.
Anyway, so I looked up the Super Bowl odds right now on OddsShark. It has Green Bay in first at plus 325. Chiefs are plus 550. Bills 750. Rams 850. Bucks 950. Those are the top 5.
Really?
Are
you have the Bills playing that high?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
That is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are they?
Like, you would think maybe like Tennessee or somebody who's just been having their way with people even without Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and they're getting Derrick Henry back.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be in the, like, that's what's crazy is people sleeping on Tennessee. They're getting Derrick Henry back.
Yeah.
Like, he might be back next week. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah, we were talking about that too.
It's crazy.
I'm
surprised they stuck Buffalo up there.
Yeah, I don't think Buffalo's gonna be that team. You know, like, I don't see them making it that far. Especially being the lower seed, it's not happening.
Yeah, especially if they got
that everybody could go up and play in.
Right.
And it'd be different, but it's not.
I mean, if they're having to go to like if they have to go to Kansas City week 1. Sorry, no, they wouldn't have to do that. If they have to go they have to go to Foxborough, most likely. If the Pats can take care of business against Miami. So and that's a
That'd
big
be an interesting game.
Because
they've lost the last 2 years.
I think on literally last week of the season, right? That happened at least the
last 2 years.
The KC year where you guys single-handedly let them win the Super Bowl because you beat New England.
Tampa. Yep.
Yeah, so I'd say I'm probably still sticking with the Chiefs in the AFC, but I don't want to sleep on Cincinnati. I think they showed themselves in that Kansas City game. I don't really like New England right now, honestly.
Yeah, the bracket's probably going to be fucked to where we'll see the best 2 teams play each other the second week of the playoffs and not in the championship. So I can't wait for that, honestly.
Most likely.
Yeah. And then the Chiefs will roll into the Super Bowl against the Packers because the Packers and the Cowboys will play week 2 or whatever. So who knows?
That'd be a really good Super Bowl, Packers Chiefs.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting to see who would come out on top on that one.
I would also like to see the trilogy, the finale of the Mahomes-Brady playoff trilogy that they got going on. I want to see Mahomes, get one over on Tom just before he retires, That'd be nice. I'd like to see Mahomes get one, but Tampa Bay would have to make it, and their defense has not shown that they even want to be in contention.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think? Anything else you want to cover today?
That's really it. Alex, if you want to text me your Venmo, I'll send you your money tomorrow. I get paid. We'll get that out of the way. And then I think Sean's not getting any money. Oh, yeah, he is. He's getting the runner-up, $40, and then Connor's dad
$40
gets the 20. And Alex, I hope you bet it all on black when you go down to Oklahoma next.
It'll be hopefully put to good use.
Yeah, we've seen you and the crew down there a few times. It would be interesting to see you down there again. So let's see how it goes.
Who knows how it's gonna go?
Yeah.
So
I think it was a really good week for playoffs. I mean, frankly, the games were kind of bit of a blowout, but Alex is undoubtedly the winner, as Connor said earlier. So.
They were a blowout, but at least it's not like a year where we're like, man, if he had played this guy instead of this guy, there's no excuses for Sean. He just flat out got beat. There's nothing he could have done. He's not.
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to beat him for the third time this year.
True. Yeah, and God, yeah, you had his number, didn't?
Yeah.
That's the third. Jeez. All right. Well, Alex, congratulations on the championship, and thanks to everybody who hung out, all year.
Yeah.
And hopefully next year we'll give you somewhat of a challenge in the championship. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I don't foresee my luck of extending that far.
It's been almost 3 completely different fantasy matchups and championships.
Pretty much.
Years, so.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to transferring it to a keeper league and kind of seeing how it evolves from there. So.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Well, we'll get off the stream here. Thank you everybody for watching throughout this year, and we'll see you next year, I guess. Bye bye.
All right.